Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface, and I've got a question to ask in this video, and that question is, has CBS's Star Trek Discovery rather sneakily been cancelled? Well, let's go through some details, and I'll probably have a wee bit of a rant about the show itself. Try and keep it on the rails if possible. And then we'll go into some details which might show that it has. So first and foremost, CBS, due to the coup and everything that was going on, which was causing massive production difficulties, decided to air the first season of Star Trek Discovery on the actual channel, the main CBS channel. Now, you would have thought that this would have got itself some pretty decent ratings. However, it fell massively flat, with the season premiere hitting a meager 1.7 million viewers, but with a demographic, 18 to 49, of 0.2, which means only 200,000 within that bracket watched out of the 1.7. Which of course means that the rest of it was most likely made up of old fogies. I say that with love, old Star Trek fans that wanted to see some Trek on their television. But let me just put this into context. You could say, 1.7, is that really that bad? Really that bad? Well, let's go to one of the worst things that we could possibly think of. Batwoman. Batwoman, which is on the CW. Now, this is very important because after this, I'm going to go to Supergirl. And the reason why I'm going to go to Supergirl is Supergirl debuted on CBS. And it didn't get them the ratings that they wanted. And so it was passed down to the CW because it's all interlinking in the network. But Batwoman, which debuted last, 2019 actually, October of 2019, debuted with a 1.86 million. So slightly higher than Disco Season 1, but with a much better demographic, 0.47, which is 470,000 out of it. Now, obviously, it couldn't maintain those ratings and plummeted down to 600,000 in some instances, and ended with a lackluster 739,000. So let's jump to Supergirl. Now, the debut of Supergirl, admittedly, was 6 odd years ago. However, it debuted with nearly 13 million viewers in 2015. With a demo of 3.15. Now, even when it plummeted to its worst ratings, it was 6 million. And even at the end of the first season, still holding above 6 million views, with an average of 7.684 for the whole season. That wasn't good enough for CBS. It had to go. It was cancelled from CBS, but due to fan reaction, it was picked up by the CW, which of course is all part of it. So the 1.7 million you can now see in some sort of context is absolutely abysmal, and that's pretty much what it stayed like. So it hasn't lost viewers, but it hasn't gained any either. Essentially, it's the same people watching it. The demographic is very similar to 0.2, 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, 0.2.5, 0.2. You get the drift. So it's essentially the same people are just tuning in. It's not garnishing any sort of audience. Even this article here gives its impression, and its impression is one of massive negativity. Star Trek Discovery's ratings are a disaster. 3 months ago, this came out. Star Trek Discovery attempted to grab some new audience members by airing its first season on CBS. The series is about to premiere its third season on the All Access, which of course is changing to Paramount Plus later. And it looks like the network thought airing the first season on television might boost awareness and viewership for the show. Unfortunately, Star Trek Discovery did not exactly light the television rating charts on fire and premiered with an average of 1.7 million overall and only scored a 0.2 rating in the demographics. That's not great, but it's even more disheartening when you see that it was beaten by reruns of shows like The Masked Singer and Filthy Rich. Not a particularly strong showing for the series. Oopsie doopsies. So let's just jump to current day. Star Trek, this season of Star Trek Discovery, to me, has been disgusting. I mean, absolutely disgusting. Not only is the show not any good, I mean, it's a show about a bunch of mentally deficient adults who behave like children with massive emotional problems. They can't have a conversation without crying. The lead protagonist, Mikey Burnham, is a hypocrite, a narcissist, a warmonger, a murderer, disobedient. They abhor authority and yet demand it. This character is the most unlikable character I think there is on television at the moment. There is no way that you can possibly not only empathize with this character, but even like this character. They are awful. They are horrible. But it got worse. This season made a very clear and concerted effort to make sure that there were no straight white males in any sort of positive or position of power within the show. Anytime there was a straight white male, they were a villain. It was as simple as that. So in a show that boasts about inclusion and diversity, they made it very specific about what they wanted to exclude, which again shows hypocrisy. And it also shows just how nasty these people really are with these decision-making processes. Now, with saying decision-making processes, our friend of the channel, Robert Mayer Burnett, who I do Wednesday shows with, he recently, on one of his Robservation episodes, read out an edict that was created about what you can and can't do when it comes to demographics. You can't show disabled people in a negative light. You can't show ethnic people in a negative light. And it was just a really alarming document about the way that they want to pigeonhole people and treat people. But it also shows the bigotry of the people behind this whole series. In Star Trek Discovery Season 3, there is a massive amount of segregation that goes on. They segregate all the alphabet community together in a very infantilized way. They are treated and shown as children, little children that need to be nurtured, that can't have their own voice. They need to be in their own group, separate from everybody else. They segregated Mikey Burnham and her lover, who's essentially her wife, because he plays the female role in the relationship and she plays the masculine role. They've simply reversed those, and they are both black, and they separated them, and then they separated the rest of the bridge crew who barely say a word away too. So you have these various groups, segregated groups, demographics that were very painfully obvious to see. Again, a show which boasts inclusion and diversity. But Michelle Paradise, who wrote the absolutely dreadful season finale, my video is up. It's the the last video apart from this one on the channel. If you want to see me descend into madness, by all means go check it out. On the 2nd of November of last year, she tweeted out this image of Discovery saying, season 4, here we go. So it looks like everything was go, go, go for the next season. She follows it up by saying, day 1 of season 4, so proud of our room. Breaking and writing from corners, kitchens, garages, and home offices, which might lead some answers as to why the shows are so messy and pathetic and terrible and garbled. And our production team prepping a new season is a lot, especially in a pandemic. They've done incredible work to get us here and keep everyone safe. Now, she uses, of course, the word prepping, which means they're prepping for season 4, but there's no actual physical work going on. Whereas Doug Jones, who plays Saru, actually posted on the same day. So it seemed to be, and when I say organized, they were probably encouraged to tweet out to give the message. Tweeted out his before and after pictures as he's getting ready for his Saru makeup. However, I've had it on relatively good authority that there hasn't been any filming for season 4. Now, the way that they planned initially the season 4 filming was to do something very similar to The Mandalorian and use one of those screens, those screens which would allow them to do the bulk of their filming inside and therefore not have to do much external filming, which is what's causing a lot of the scheduling and production no-nos, because we're all locked down, we're all in prison, of course. However, this is the rumor aspect. The rumor aspect is that actually, instead of work on season 4 being filmed, there were actually some recordings that may have been used as an alternative ending for season 3. And some pickup shots. Now, there's a couple of things here which make sense. The finale of Discovery, there was a woman with brown hair who had not been in the series at all, was suddenly inserted to the bridge crew. Now, that was normally where a blonde female was. She was the one who had the android makeup from the first season, the first couple of seasons, but then they killed that character off because she didn't want to wear the makeup, and then they let her stay on without the makeup so she could be normal. But that character was missing, and it seemed as if this brown-haired character was literally an insert for her, which makes it look like they were reshoots because they couldn't get hold of the actress, or the actress had a scheduling conflict at the time and was unable to go back in and get these pickup shots. And then the rumor is that they filmed a secondary ending. Now, the secondary ending for season 3 starts to make a wee bit more sense when you see what happened at the end of the season. First of all, when it finished, they put up this card from Gene Roddenberry, the creator, of course, of Star Trek. In a very real sense, we are all aliens on a strange planet. We spend most of our lives reaching out and trying to communicate. If during our whole lifetime we could reach out and really communicate with just 2 people, we are indeed very fortunate. Gene Roddenberry. Now, that's a very weird thing to put just for a season finale when you're going into another season. This seems kind of... There's a period which has been put here, a full stop, an ending. But then even more weird is instead of having the regular ending music, they actually had the original theme tune from Star Trek, the original series, TOS, which could have easily been put there to antagonize. But I go by the by. But it just seems very weird that you'd have those 2 things. And the season ended when they're all in their communist outfits. Look at Comrade Burnham. And then they go out and they warp off into the sunset. Which is weird, of course, because Discovery actually has a spore drive. And they don't use the warp engines to go places. They go into black alert. But of course, it's I'm taking the mickey. Well, I'm not taking the mickey. I'm telling the truth. But they need this shot because they needed something pleasant, some effect to look at. But again, it was kind of reminiscent of Star Trek VI, the film, Undiscovered Country, where it ends with Kirk saying, you know, pick a star to the right, whatever, and then forward until morning. It kind of felt very much as if they were zapping off into the sunset. Now, there have been some massive changes within personnel behind the scenes at CBS, which is going to become Paramount Plus. And a lot of those changes have happened within the Star Trek department with new Star Trek contents, new Star Trek global people positioned in. And probably one of the biggest things is Star Trek Discovery has also been removed from the scheduling. Now, Strange New Worlds is still there. That's the show which is going to have Captain Pike, Spock, number 1. It's going to have those characters in it. That's still showing on the scheduling, but Discovery has vanished. Now, yes, they could have removed it, changed its name, and put it back on. But why would you want to change its name? It wouldn't make sense to pull Star Trek Discovery off, change its name, and put it back on so people don't know it's in production. As we saw from those tweets from Michelle Paradise, she was very keen to show that Star Trek Discovery was back. And they were gonna go ahead with their 4th season. We're ready, folks. Oh, don't pay any attention to that. I think that's just put there by the website itself. So that's not an official Star Trek Season 4 card. So things don't seem to be adding up that there is going to be a 4th season. And then, of course, there's the big question. Who's going to fund it? As far as I'm aware, the deal with Netflix is now over. And I don't think it's been particularly good for Netflix, as there was rumblings after the very first season that it had massively underperformed. Netflix were really unhappy, but they'd signed a 3-year deal. Now, if that's correct, that 3-year deal would now be over. If they were to have Star Trek Discovery renewed, I very much doubt they'd be paying anything close to what they were paying before. CBS had to give them short treks for free. After trying to sell it to Netflix, they wouldn't buy them, they wouldn't pick them up, and so they ended up just giving them to them. So there's a lot of here. Where would the money come from? The Picard money? Well, Picard's looking very unlikely to get a season 2. Patrick Stewart is seemingly unable to get insured. The show should have gone into production, is not in production. Yes, there are COOF difficulties, but when you have an 80-year-old man who, and I say this with love, it sounds very, infirm, doesn't sound particularly strong anymore. And he's the focal point of your franchise. It's no wonder that they're having insurance problems when it comes to him. So where the money is coming from, who knows? We're seeing a tremendous slash in budget from season 1 to 3. I can only imagine if season 4 does go ahead, what on earth that would look like. Maybe they change the theme tune to the original series, because it might actually look like the original series. So there we go. Has Star Trek Discovery actually been rather sneakily cancelled? Only time will tell, but it kind of looks that way. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.